Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Modern Horizons draft. Now, I wanted to do a couple more of these. We'll see if this is the last one or if I do another one. I sold the Ragavan that I got yesterday. I made like 90-some tickets off of it. So I'm going to use most of those tickets for something else, but I figured I'd do at least one more draft with the proceeds from that sale. I'm going to take Kaleidoscorch as the first pick here. If we do end up in a Storm-ish deck, Eve should almost certainly wheel. I don't think this card is first pickable because of the fact that it's triple green. I mean, maybe I should take it, but Kaleidoscorch is in general more powerful in more decks, and I think this keeps us more open. Whereas picking Eve kind of shoehorns me into a single deck. And a deck that I'm not super good at drafting anyway. Speaking of Storm, here's Shardless Agent. So, I could take Shardless Agent, and we could play like a teamer deck. The thing is, if I do, I already have one terrible Cascade target. If I Cascade into Kaleidoscorch, it effectively can only kill illusions because 0 mana was spent to cast it. Junkwinder is incredible if you're playing the token deck. Squirrel Sovereign, it's incredible if you're playing the Squirrel deck. I think I'm going to take Junkwinder because the highest power level for this card is absolutely absurd. So I'm going to take the Junkwinder and we'll see where we get. All right, there's a Blazing Rootwalla. If we want to do Delirium, this card can be good because a lot of the Delirium enablers are discard cards. Same with Foul Watcher. There's also kind of a Delirium card. I mean, arguably this card is better in Madness, but works quite well in the Delirium deck. I'm going to take the Rootwalla because I am going to play red. I'm not going to not play a Kaleidoscorch, so. Okay, we've got Arcbound Tracker. There's also Revolutionist and a Spreading Insurrection. I think I'm going to take the Tracker. It's aggressive. If we are going to play a Delirium, it's an artifact and a creature, which is kind of important for multiple reasons. I do like Revolutionist, but I think Tracker is more important, at least for the way our deck is currently shaping up. I like Foul Watcher a lot. Lightning Spear is also good. Skophos Reaver is good, but we have no discard outlets. I'm going to take the Watcher. I think I would rather start by picking creatures first. I don't think Cabal Coffers is possible to make work in Limited, not without a bunch of basically like the black mythics and stuff. I don't think you can actually make a deck unless your deck is already absurd. I will take the Manticore. It's a great discard outlet. It's an enchantment as well as a creature for Delirium purposes. Faithless Salvaging would be good. It is a discard outlet. I'm going to take Silver Bluff Bridge because at this point I'm looking like I'm drafting Delirium, and it being an artifact as well as a land matters. We're going to need fixing for blue if we're going to play a double blue spell at the top end. I will be picking cards like Hard Evidence higher if I see them because we have a Junkwinder. Okay, Chance Encounter, not playable. Phantasmal Dreadmaw is not playable. Slag Strider is probably not playable. I'm going to put this card in the sideboard because if I get a ton of artifact lands, then that could be different, but until such time, I don't think it is. Mental Journey, basic land cycling, it's an instant. This is good. Step Through is also good, though we have nothing that synergizes with it specifically. And Flame Blitz is good as a cycle, a way to get an enchantment into the grave. It's just basically a think twice. I'm going to take the Mental Journey because this card is great if we get even one Revolutionist. It does a lot. Now I can take Ethereum Spinner, which creates tokens, which synergizes with Junkwinder, and I think that puts it above like Slagwood's Bridge for potential splash or for powering up Kaleidoscorch. I will take a second Foul Watcher. It's a really good Delirium payoff. It's a somewhat aggressive creature. I think Spreading Insurrection is fine. Floodhound with Junkwinder is technically a combo. It's not fantastic. Spreading Insurrection, if we get even like one rebound spell, could be really, really good. Like, Double Threaten is very strong. I don't think I would play Steelfin Whale. I might play Bottle Golems. Alright, well, I'm going to get a Steelfin Whale anyway, and a Blessed Respite. Okay, pack 2. Maybe it's another Ragavan! Then we could just go ultimately positive. It's a Lannis. So I can take Scuttletide, because that's insane with Junkwinder. Lannis is also insane with Junkwinder. For the low price of, I don't know, playing creatures, it's pretty good. Problem is it requires us to splash another color, whereas Scuttletide, Sweep the Skies, although Sweep the Skies kind of makes us splash another color. Scuttletide does not and Delirium Spinner would not. I think I'm going to go for Lannis, and we're going to lightly splash green in this deck. Prophetic Titan is really good in the Delirium deck. It is a wizard. Unfortunately, we did not get the Riptide Lab from the first pack, I'm now realizing. Let's see. Faithless Salvaging, Aeromoeba, Counterspell, Rift Sower. I'm a little bit hesitant to take Counterspell, although right now it's looking like we might be more blue than red. So I think Counterspell's fine here. Rift Sower I think would also be okay, especially if we are going to be splashing green, but... Okay, Blood Braid Marauder. I'm really hoping Seal of Removal comes around, but I would take a Therium Spinner or another Manticore. I technically would even take a Shattered Ego, but Blood Braid Marauder is an aggressive creature, it is a rare, and it is a Delirium payoff technically, although it's not a very good one in our deck currently. Tanglepool Bridge I will take over Said and Done. Altar of the Goyf is much better than I thought because it counts card types in your opponent's grave as well, and I might play this card if it comes around, but I do want to play Lannis, and I am going to take a Tanglepool Bridge to help support it. This is a blue-green land, which is important because of Junkwinder being blue. Strike it Rich is technically fixing. It's a way to make tokens for Junkwinder. If we get a Captain Ripley Vance, it's a way to cast multiple spells in a turn. Sojourner's Companion is an artifact creature. It does cycle, so it's a way to get itself into the grave relatively easily. Strike it Rich, on the other hand, doesn't really do that much. But it could let us fix for a turn to Lannis, even if we start on red. It technically can power up Kaleidoscorch. It is a cheap sorcery. I actually think the pick is Strike it Rich and not Recalibrate here. Okay, Chef's Kiss is... slightly less good because we are considering being more blue than red here. But Chef's Kiss is a very powerful spell, and the alternative is an Aeromoeba, which while it is a discard outlet, I think Chef's Kiss is still the pick here. Okay, Step Through can cycle for Prophetic Titan if we need it to. It is also a sorcery, of which we don't have that many. We only have Strike it Rich. Flame Rift is also Reach, sort of the same reason. I could take Battle Plan to have another basic land cycler in case I need to go grab a forest. Or a duplicate card. It's also an enchantment, which we don't have any of besides the Manticore. I'm going to take the Battle Plan, actually. I think this is a deck that will play Battle Plan. Scuttletide, another tracker, Therium Spinner. We don't have that many spells for CMC or greater, or for mana value or greater. Scuttletide I have been disappointed with, unless you can get it in multiples. Arcbound Tracker might actually be the pick here because I already have one and these get better in multiples, I think. We'll try taking Scuttletide. If we end up with like 2 or 3 Scuttletides, maybe we end up playing them and maybe they end up really good. Galvanic Relay, maybe with Strike it Rich might actually be better than Mental Journey. Otherwise we can take a Grizzly Bears that's also an artifact in the form of Diamond Lion. I'll take the Galvanic Relay. I think this could give us like some sustain into the mid-late game if we just cast like one spell, like a Root Wall on the same turn. I'll take Aeromoeba for that reason. There's another Therium Spinner. I really want Seal of Removal. Unsummon is good, even at sorcery speed. The fact that this gets an enchantment into the grave is also important. Lose Focus, I like a little bit more than Sea Drake, even though I'm probably not playing either. Canticle's fine for the sideboard, and Healer's Flock for the sideboard. Alright. We almost have enough cards for a completely playable deck. Alright. I actually want to take Yavimaya here, because it's another way to splash Lannis, although Tanglepool Bridge might be better. I don't know that we're going to need more than just a few green sources. We'll take Yavimaya. Dragon's Rage Channeler is an amazing pass to us. Picking this up in pack 3, pick 2 is amazing. So definitely taking that. It makes Strike it Rich way better. It makes all of our instants and sorceries way better. Oh, it's just non-creature spell. It makes all of our non-creature spells way better. Okay, with the Yavimaya, I could actually splash Smell Fear. That's not unreasonable. It's a decent removal spell. The problem is the Proliferate does not matter in the slightest. It's just an early sorcery. I think I'm going to take Altar of the Goyf. There's another Smell Fear. There's a Terramorph. Terramorph is a sorcery. It fixes. It helps get us into the late game because we have a couple of spells that are expensive. Arcbound Slasher, on the other hand, is a creature with haste that we can use to end the game quickly. We don't have a thing that takes advantage of multiple spell casts. This is an uncommon. This is a common. I think I will take a Terramorph. I can take a Wave Sifter, or I can take a Tangle Pool Bridge. I think I'm going to take a Wave Sifter. Casting this on 5 is not bad, giving us multiple redraws. It makes our endgame stronger. It synergizes with Junk Winder, even if we evoke it. I do need creatures. I think I take an Aeromoeba here over a Tide Shaper. Tide Shaper is, I guess, better against like 5-color decks, but Storm God's Oracle is an amazing pass to us. I will be taking Storm God's Oracle. Sorry, Braids. Sorry, Terramorph. I will take another Wave Sifter for reasons previously stated. I have no way to splash for Foundry Helix except Strike It Rich, and I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen. I guess I have Terramorph as well, and a couple of basic land cyclers, so maybe I actually could take this Foundry Helix. I don't really want to splash for it. I don't think I'd play a third Aeromoeba, second Battle Plan, or Galvanic Relay, so I guess that means I take the Infiltrator. Parcelmere is both an artifact and a creature. Fodder Tosser is a discard outlet, though we may not need that. Breathless Knight is double off color, and for some reason that's what was auto-selected. I guess I'll take Parcelmere. Spreading Insurrection does look better because we do have a bunch of cheap spells. I already have one. Thornglint Bridge is green and white. I'm going to put a Bottle Golems in the sideboard. Another Strike It Rich. I will take another Strike It Rich, but I don't know that I can play two. I'll put a Tide Shaper in the sideboard and a Nested Shambler. Okay, let's build the deck. So we have 18 creatures, which is about where I want to be. I think I'm going to cut Parcelmere and maybe this Infiltrator. Then I need to cut non-creature spells, starting with a Strike It Rich. Chef's Kiss is probably going to be the hardest spell for us to cast. Maybe the Manticore is too. How many instants do I have? Counterspell, Chef's Kiss, and Mental Journey. I'm going to drop Chef's Kiss. Altar of the Goyf. Don't think we need Altar of the Goyf. I think it's going to be too expensive. But by the time we would get to it, it's not going to be that good. We have 4 1-drops, so Bloodbraid Marauder is not actually that unreasonable if we somehow get Delirium. Like, if we top deck this late game, it could get us more value. I need to cut 2 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sorceries. I really have this feeling like Spreading Insurrection is going to do work. I have Seal of Removal, Scuttletide, Storm God's Oracle. I guess with Storm God's Oracle, I don't need Battle Plan as much. Although maybe I'll miss the basic land cycling, we'll see. And I think I'm going to cut 1 Aeromoeba. Okay. This wants me to play 3 forests, in addition to Tangle Pool and Yavimaya. I think one of those forests, maybe even 2 of those forests, need to be a mountain. Alright, let's try it like this. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, we're on the play. If we got a second land of any color, it would be good. But I cannot rely on that, so I need to mulligan. Man, if we do not draw mana with this hand, we are going to be in trouble. But we are going to keep this. We're going to lead on Island and kind of pray that we draw a Forest or Yavimaya, because then we can evoke Wave Sifter. I'm happy to take another island, pass the turn. This will at least let us get to Ethereum Spinner. Okay, opponent plays second mana, play a mountain, play Ethereum Spinner. Really hoping for green mana, because now if we can land this Terramorph, we can do a lot of fun stuff. Okay, never mind. Opponent is playing Sudden Edict. They play a tap land. We draw Foul Watcher. Well, at least we get to manipulate our top deck and look for a land. Surveil Forest to the top. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains. They play a Hellmongrel. We draw a Forest. Play a Forest. Terramorph. Let's go ahead and get a Mountain. I'm not blocking, so I'm going to attack here. Five mana, opponent plays Radiant Epicure. So we're going to cast Spreading Insurrection this turn, because we're going to do so much damage to our opponent. At least I'm pretty sure anyway. So cast Terramorph. Get a Island. Hang on a minute. Let's see what we draw. Junk Winder. Currently costs 7. Now I could cast Spreading Insurrection And if I do, I will be doing 10 damage to my opponent. Prophetic Titan we can use to kill Hellmongrel unless my opponent discards 2 cards in response, so this would be a 4/4 that either Mind Rots or kills my opponent's creature. I can't get Delirium. If I could get Delirium... No, that doesn't change anything. Okay, play Prophetic Titan. Deal 4 damage here. Okay, they let it die. Pass the turn. If they attack with Radiant Epicure, I think I actually do double block. Opponent basic land cycles a Landscaper Kolos to get a mountain, then plays a Vile Entomber. Getting a Piru the Volatile. They do not attack. We untap and we get a Mental Journey. They are going to reanimate this creature, so we need to be able to get a Junkwinder on board and make tokens. I cannot get a Junkwinder on board this turn, and I can only currently make tokens with the Wave Sifter. So I can either cast Mental Journey and try and draw cards, or I can cast Wave Sifter. I think Mental Journey gives me more options. So we'll cast Mental Journey, and we're going to pray that they cannot reanimate Piru immediately. Okay, play a mountain, and we will strike it rich. Pass the turn. No attacks. Maybe I actually needed to save that strike at rich, but... Okay, opponent attacks for 7. We're going to double block here. Take 2 from the Death Touch. They are going to kill the Prophetic Titan. They play a Landscaper Kolos. They put Strike at Rich back into our deck. We untap. We draw a mountain. So, play a mountain. Play Junkwinder. I do have to evoke Wave Sifter because I don't think I can wait a turn. No, I can wait. I'm going to Kaleidoscorch to kill the Vile Entomber. Go to combat, attack them for 2 in the air. This doesn't have reach, right? Yeah, okay. Don't know why that I think that creature would have reach, but I definitely tapped wrong because I have to spend my treasure to do this now, which makes the flashback a lot worse. Alright, pass the turn. I will evoke if my opponent reanimates Piru, because what that means is... Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, meaning I can play Seal of Removal, spreading Insurrection both of their creatures, attack for 9, 16, 17, 18, and then I can evoke Wave Sifter to tap both of their creatures. Okay. We'll start with evoking. So we tap the Kolos, we tap the Junkwinder, or we tap the Piru. We sack Wave Sifter, then we Spreading Insurrection, Storm count of 2, copy it, so we get both of their guys, go to combat, attack with everybody. Opponent gains life from the food, sure. They go to 5, we go to 18, and we play Seal of Removal. And now their guys still don't untap. Oh, I guess I should probably... they're going to gain 7 life for each creature that kills, so we're going to Seal of Removal our own Junkwinder. I guess I should have bounced Piru because that may have guaranteed lethal. No, it wouldn't have. It would not have guaranteed lethal. I really hope they can't reanimate it again. They play Breathless Knight. They play Harmonic Prodigy. And they play the Underworld Cookbook. Okay. So they can pick up Piru with the Underworld Cookbook. We draw a Silver Bluff Bridge. Play Junkwinder. Sack a Clue. Get Stormgod's Oracle. Play the bridge. Pass the turn. Yeah, I definitely made a mistake there. I needed to unsummon Piru. So I forgot the old Elder Dragon text existed on it, of having to pay mana of each color. When it goes to combat, attacks for 2 in the air, we take it. When it plays another Breathless Knight and passes. We draw an Arcbound Tracker. So, play Tracker. Flashback Kaleidoscorch to kill this Breathless Knight. Counter on Tracker. Go to combat and attack for 5. Hit them to 16, they untap. They play a land. They go to combat. They attack for 2. We take 2, go to 14, they go to 18. They play Disciple of the Sun, picking up Breathless Knight. Sack a clue, draw a card, Wave Sifter. So play an island. Cast Wave Sifter, double Investigate, tap here and tap here. Then play Storm God's Oracle, get a counter on Tracker. Go to combat, attack for 9. They probably chump here. They do. Okay, they untap. They replay Breathless Knight. We really need to try and kill them this turn. We untap and draw Forest. So draw a card off our clue. Scuttletide. I think that does it. Draw a card off our clue. Aeromoeba. Play Scuttletide. Game's over. Nice. All right, so we made a mistake. And now that I think about it, it may not have actually been a mistake, because this is... Oh, it's 8 mana to cast. Opponent was stuck on 6, so it was definitely correct to unsummon it there. I was worried that they were going to draw a land and replay it, but for some reason I was thinking this costs 7 instead of 8 mana. All right, good to know. I might want Lose Focus, but to deal with the reanimation spell, I'm not 100% on that one. Let's run it back. Okay, this hand is not keepable. This is a mulligan. This hand's not really keepable either, but it is a lot better, and I think I will have to end up keeping it. I'm going to put back Terramorph, because it's very unlikely that we draw green, and we're going to need the mana. Opponent leads on Underworld Cookbook. We draw a Wave Sifter, play Seal of Removal, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains, plays a Starfish, we untap. We draw Lannis, play a Mountain, pass the turn. Really hoping to draw green mana now. Opponent plays a Breathless Knight and passes. We untap, we draw Mental Journey. That is technically green mana. So, basic land cycle, get a forest, play a forest, pass the turn. Opponent surveils. Puts Piru into the grave, surveils, puts a swamp into the grave. They're looking for a reanimation spell. They go to combat, attack us for 2, that's fine. Take 2, they gain 2, they play a land, and pass. We untap, draw forest. I cannot ping anything down with the Manticore. I can play the Aeromoeba and maybe stop my opponent from attacking. I think I need to do that. So play Aeromoeba, pass the turn. Opponent surveils, leaves it on top, they draw. They play a tap land, no attacks. We untap, draw a mountain, play Lannis, play a land, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, surveils, leaves it on top. They cast a Radiant Epicure with 2 colors, and they drain us. Then they play a tap land. They have 1 unknown card in their hand. We untap, we draw Blood Braid Marauder, play a mountain, play a Manticore, get a trigger from Lannis, play Marauder with no Delirium, get a trigger from Lannis, pass the turn, no discard. Now I'm kind of torn between using our clues for Lannis's ability, stealing something, or just drawing a bunch of cards. Opponent goes to combat, they attack for 5, block with the Manticore, block with the Aeromoeba. They're going to kill the Aeromoeba. Okay. So Aeromoeba down. They lose the Radiant Epicure. They play a land, and they play a Glorious Enforcer. That is bad, because the best thing I can do is just unsummon it right now. We untap. We draw Dragon's Rage Channeler. Cast Wave Sifter. Get a bunch of clues. Then play Dragon's Rage Channeler. Get 1 more clue. Pass the turn. We have nothing to discard. No attacks. Opponent untaps. They draw. They go to combat. Glorious Enforcer gains double strike. Okay, they attack with Breathless Knight and Glorious Enforcer. Block the Enforcer with a Wave Sifter. Unsummon Wave Sifter. So they hit us for 2 and gain 2. We're going to need our Junk Winder. Okay, opponent plays a Vile Entomber. And they get to go tutoring for something to put it in the grave. I could hope they have like another 7-drop. But even if it's a Glorious Enforcer, dueling Glorious Enforcers is not fun because our opponent has more life than us. They put a Disciple of the Sun in the grave. That's either a really big brain play to say I don't have any other big creatures I want in the grave, or it is my opponent's next best creature, which means using Lannis is not really acceptable. Alright, we're going to sack a clue to draw a card. We get a counter spell. Sack a clue to draw a card. Another island. Play an island. Oh, I could discard Ethereum Spinner to kill that Breathless Knight. I don't think that's a good idea. Go to combat. No discard. Attack with Braid Marauder. Okay, opponent no blocks. They take 3. Then I'm going to play out Ethereum Spinner. This gives us another clue. We are taking a lot of damage. But we might be able to stabilize. We still need to draw Junk Winder. If we do, we can lock down this Glorious Enforcer long enough to win. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks for a lot. So we need to block here. We take 12. Okay. Untap. We draw an island. So we need to sack a clue and draw a card. That's a bridge. Now I can cast this Wave Sifter, which will give me a 1/1 flyer that I can chump the Enforcer with, and I can trade with the Breathless Knight. So I want to play this Tanglepool Bridge, and I want to cast Wave Sifter. Okay, so we get a Thopter, we get a Wave Sifter, we get a whole bunch of clues. Opponent picks up a Radiant Epicure. Okay, so I actually need Counterspell to deal with that. But without doing this, I can't actually deal with the board. So there might be some hope. The only thing left that I can do is sack all my clues like this. And there might be some way for me to gain life. Actually, I should have done this in response, because if I hit Landscaper Kolos... Okay, I didn't. But had I hit Landscaper Kolos, I could have put that card on the bottom of their deck. So I needed to do that in response. Okay, we're moving on to game 3. I might want Spreading Insurrection, but I think I'm just going to run it back. Alright, we'll play first. I think this hand is good enough. We will keep. I'm also going to have to play fast, because I didn't restart the client, and we're under 10 minutes now. Okay, so Island, Seal of Removal, pass the turn. Foul Watcher can manipulate our top deck, hopefully into, I was going to say getting us green mana, but we're already there now. So play Foul Watcher. Surveil Mountain into the grave, because while we do need more mana, getting a land into the grave is probably more important. Now I could actually evoke this Wave Sifter and with the sacrifice trigger on the stack, bounce it back to my hand with Seal to get even more tokens. There might be some merit in that, allowing me to get like an early Junk Winder. We get a Terramorph. I think I'm actually going to do this. So evoke Wave Sifter, bounce Wave Sifter, get some clues. Go to combat. Attack for 1. And we just need to draw one more land, so we can cast Terramorph, and then all of our mana issues are taken care of. Okay, opponent plays a Breathless Knight. We untap and get Lannis. So play Lannis. If we can get up to 7 clues, because my opponent has 2 really powerful 7-drops, I think it's worth sacking it. So pass to our opponent. They attack us for 2. No blocks. We take 2, they gain 2. They Tragic Fall Lannis. Okay, that is no longer part of the game plan. We untap. We draw an Arcbound Tracker. Play Tracker. Go to combat. Hit them for 1. They go to 20. They Surveil. They keep it on top, whatever it is. They untap. Discerning Taste. So they're going to dig. They put 3 swamps into the grave. So they kept a non-land, probably. Or they kept a plains. That is also possible. They hit us for 2. Okay, we take 2. Okay, we untap. We draw Braid Marauder. We are very close to having Delirium. So play Scuttletide. Go to combat. Attack for 3. So if I discard a non-creature, non-enchantment card, read a sorcery, then we will have Delirium for this Blood Braid Marauder, which could get us some very important cards. Opponent attacks us for 2, we take 2. That also would count as a double cast trigger for a counter on the Arcbound creature. Radiant Epicure is a problem. Okay, I'm going to discard... Oh man, I might need Spreading Insurrection to actually win. We're going to have to actually draw mana naturally now. Alright, untap. We draw an Aeromoeba. Cast a Blood Braid Marauder. Cascade. Cast a Blazing Rootwalla. Counter on the tracker. Okay. Then we go to combat. And hit our opponent for 2 in the air. We can't attack with the tracker because they can just block with the Starfish and the Epicure. And then we have to deal with the Epicure and we lose a lot of our power. Opponent surveils. Putting Sudden Edict into the grave. They untap. They surveil on their upkeep. They leave it on top, whatever it is. They draw. They go to combat. They attack for quite a bit. Jump the Epicure, take 2. They go up to 24, we go down to 9. Discard. Nothing, actually. Untap. We draw a mountain. Okay. Play the mountain. Go to combat. Attack with everybody. Opponent no blocks. They take the damage, they go to 15. We play Aeromoeba. This is really bad if they have a removal spell. But hopefully we can stop the Breathless Knight from attacking. Opponent untaps, they surveil. They put a Plains in the grave. And they are thinking. They Bone Shards, Aeromoeba, discarding a mountain. Then they play a Harmonic Prodigy. They hit us for 7. Unfortunately, I don't think we can get a free spell cast for this Spreading Insurrection. We draw an Ethereum Spinner. Go to combat. Attack here and here. Opponent no blocks. They take 6 and go to 11. So play Ethereum Spinner. Us not getting that 4th land and then having to discard that Terramorph, I think is what killed us. You could make an argument that I was supposed to discard the Spreading Insurrection, but I was very much convinced that without this as a way to like swing the damage in my favor, we were going to be in trouble. I mean, we're dead to a removal spell. Opponent goes to combat. They attack for 5. So we chump with the Rootwalla. They play a Hellmongrel. We have to make a crab here, which means we are discarding the Spreading Insurrection. Untap. We draw Strike at Rich. So we have to evoke Wave Sifter. Get a Thopter. Investigate twice. Cast Strike at Rich. Put a counter on the tracker. Get a token. Go to combat. We attack with the tracker and the Marauder. Now they probably have a card they can discard. So they could block the Marauder with Hellmongrel and then just discard a card. But it doesn't block, so it doesn't, like, this card doesn't matter. It just puts more pressure on them now. Okay, they're going to trade. That's fine. They take 4 and go to 7. If they had blocked down this Arcbound tracker, we'd have a 5/5 Thopter, which would be huge. Opponent untaps. They surveil on their upkeep. Yeah, we were just like 1 resource short. Because like if we had gotten a mountain and were able to cast that Spreading Insurrection, we would almost certainly win this. They put Disciple of the Sun in the grave, because apparently they need something to win now. even though Disciple of the Sun is a very good lifelink creature. On my opponent's end step, I am sacking Clue, provided I don't need to do something else with my mana somehow to win or survive. Opponent goes to combat, and they triple attack. So we have no choice but to trade, chump, and chump. We need the Ethereum Spinner. Actually, I think I just have to top deck Junkwinder, and in order to cast Junkwinder, I have to have this treasure. So they go up to 9. We have 6 damage currently. They Graceful Restoration, getting 2 cheap creatures back. That probably wins. Yeah, I think that wins. We would need Junkwinder this turn. And I might have 1 redraw to get it, depending on how math works. We untap, draw Forest, sack a Clue, Junkwinder. Silver Bluff Bridge is not Junkwinder, and that does it. That was a very hard-fought game. We just didn't draw what we needed in time, and we were forced to turn valuable spells into chumps with the Scuttletide, and like, we didn't draw land to replay Wave Sifter to trade earlier. It just, we couldn't make it happen. We tried. I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, we're on the play for round 2, and I will be keeping this. So, lead on Silver Bluff Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest into a Glimmer Baron. We draw a Forest. Play a Forest, play Foul Watcher. Let's go ahead and Surveil. Island, I will need a second island, but not yet. We're going to put that in the grave. Pass the turn. It's going to be difficult for us to get a land into the grave in any other way. Opponent attacks us for 1. Could they make an instant speed token? No, but they could have a combat trick. So we'll take 1. They play a second Glimmer Baron. We untap. We draw a counterspell. So I can either Galvanic Relay this turn, or I can evoke Wave Sifter. I think I'm going to cast Galvanic Relay. We exile a Storm God's Oracle, which I cannot cast because I do not have a red or a blue source, so we're going to hope to top deck one of those. Opponent untaps after taking 1 from our Foul Watcher, because we're not blocking our opponent's creatures. Not for a while. They attack us for 2, we take 2. They pass, we untap, we draw another Foul Watcher. That is highly unfortunate because we cannot play this Storm God's Oracle this turn. Play another Foul Watcher. Arcbound Tracker is both an artifact and a creature, so put this into our grave to turn on our Delirium. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Hit them down to 17. We do have to play Yavimaya because we do have to make our land drops, even though we fix our opponent's mana by doing so. Opponent plays a Forest. They play a Bannerhide Cruciak. No attacks. We untap. We draw an island. So I can either cast Wave Sifter, or I can cast Blood Braid Marauder. Neither one allows me to hold up Counterspell this turn, unless Blood Braid Marauder wheels into Strike It Rich. So I'm going to cast Blood Braid Marauder. Okay, we cast Blazing Rootwalla. Play an island. Go to combat. Attack for 4 in the air. Opponent goes down to 13. They untap. They play an island. They play a Wave Sifter. Get some tokens. They attack with the Cruciak. Okay, no blocks. We untap and draw Prophetic Titan, which Prophetic Titan will be very good if we can cast it. Hang on a minute. Go to combat. Attack for 4. I would not be surprised if our opponent blocks with a Wave Sifter. Okay. Cast Wave Sifter, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an island. So opponent is representing up to 10 damage if they sack their clues to Glimmer Baron. Okay. They attack us for 4, no blocks. They play a Junkwinder. That is bad. We untap and draw Kaleidoscorch. Cannot cast Kaleidoscorch and keep up Counterspell. which is a bit of a problem. I also can't play Prophetic Titan. So let's sack a clue and draw a card. Manticore doesn't help. Go to combat. Attack in the air. Hit them to 6. And we're going to pray that this counterspell can save us. We will chump the Junkwinder if they attack with it. Oh, actually, I think I'm just dead. Yeah, if they just right-click attack all, we die. So unless they somehow miss that or are on tilt. Okay, they have a second Smell Fear. Okay. I think my opponent had us a lot earlier then. Actually, I should have waited to see how they attacked, because if we untapped and drew a land, we could have Prophetic Titan to kill them if they didn't attack all and kill us. Alright, run it back. Alright, we're on the play. I think this hand is fine. We will keep. We have a 2-drop, 2 3-drops. So lead on Silver Bluff Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. We draw Lannis. New plan. Play Lannis. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a forest into a Jade Avenger. We draw a mountain. Play a mountain. Play tracker. Lannis gives us a clue. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent smells fear to kill Lannis. And attacks us for 2. That's fine. We untap and draw a Manticore. So play a mountain. Go to combat. My initial thought was to play the Manticore and discard Stormgod's Oracle, but that feels like a tremendous waste. What I can do instead is sack this clue and then play Foul Watcher. Second Forest into the grave. Because now I could discard Ethereum Spinner or Stormgod's Oracle, whichever I decide is less important. Take 2 from the Jade Avenger. Opponent plays a Burdened Aerialist. We untap. Draw Wave Sifter. Play Manticore. As bad as it is, I'm going to discard this Yavimaya, I think. Well, yeah, I'm going to discard Yavimaya. I don't want to fix my opponent's mana any more than it is. That's the only single-typed card I want to get rid of right now. Because like otherwise I'd have to discard Wave Sifter. And potentially Wave Sifter's even better. If we draw another blue source, we can play Ethereum Spinner and evoke Wave Sifter, which would trigger Arcbound Tracker, do a whole lot of stuff for us. 5 mana, opponent plays a Wave Sifter. We untap, we draw Tanglepool Bridge. Play the bridge, play Ethereum Spinner, go to combat, discard Stormgod's Oracle, 2 damage to Wave Sifter, and attack here and here. Opponent goes to 12, they untap. We need not enchantment, land, or creature into the grave to get Delirium. Okay, opponent's So Shinies are Arcbound Tracker. They get to scry, because they do control a token. I'm not sure how many more 2-typed cards we have, but if we draw one, we can snipe this Jade Avenger and get in for extra damage. Okay, Mountain is not one. Oop, blue, green, whatever. Cast Wave Sifter, get a Thopter. Not going to discard this Mountain. Attack for 1. Hit our opponent to 11. They untap. They play Wave Sifter. They get more clues. We untap. We draw Galvanic Relay. Okay, let's draw a card. Kaleidos Scorch is pretty good here. So red, blue, Kaleidos Scorch. Kill Wave Sifter. Go to combat. Do not ditch a card. Hit them for 6 in the air. And then pass. They go to 5. And opponent scoops. Alright. I'm going to restart the client because it's starting to lag a little bit more. And I will see you guys in last game, round 2. Alright. No adjustments going into game 3 of round 2. I will be keeping this because we will lead on a Dragon's Rage Channeler. We get a Foul Watcher. Okay. Play Dragon's Rage Channeler. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Vidalcan Infiltrator. Play an Island. Foul Watcher. Spreading Insurrection into the grave. I don't really want to draw it. Opponent plays a Tanglepool Bridge. Does not attack. We draw a Manticore. Play a Bridge. Go to combat. We have to take a turn off because we do have a tap land. I really wanted to play Ethereum Spinner or Galvanic Relay this turn. But the Manticore is going to provide way more value even the next turn still. Okay, opponent plays Jade Avenger. Attacks for 1, no blocks. We untap and draw Braid Marauder. Okay. Play the Manticore. We're going to ditch the Ethereum Spinner. Oh, they have a counterspell. Okay. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent attacks for 3. We'll take 3. Go to 16. They play a Crew Shock. We untap. We draw Yavimaya. So play Yavimaya. Play Ethereum Spinner. Evoke Wave Sifter, get a Thopter. Get some clues. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent untaps. So they probably... Okay, they have a Smell Fear. That's good because it turns on Delirium for us. They play a land. They have another combat trick. Oh, it can't be blocked. I thought it could only not be blocked if it had Metalcraft. Take a bunch of damage. We untap and draw Forest. Play Blood Braid Marauder. Cascade. Hit a Seal of Removal. Surveil. Mental Journey. It's going to be too slow. Put it in the grave. Galvanic Relay. Surveil. Forest into the grave. Terramorph Island, Blazing Rootwalla. Play a Forest. Go to combat. Attack for 5. Unfortunately, Spreading Insurrection's in the grave. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They go to combat. They just attack with the Trampler. Okay, no blocks. We go to 5. They play a Combine Chrysalis, but they have no tokens to upgrade. We untap. Draw an island. Play an island out of exile. Sack a clue. Draw a card. We get an Aeromoeba. If I play Aeromoeba, I can get a Rootwalla for free. They have nothing that can block our flyers. So go to combat. Attack them for 6. They go to 6. Play Aeromoeba. Oh, I can't get the Rootwalla for free. Because it's in exile. Oh, I'm dumb. I think I just threw the game. Curse you, impulsive draw in red. Why aren't you actual card draw? Because red would be overpowered and blue gets the monopoly. Alright. I might not be dead with this unsummon. It is embarrassing, though. Alright, we got there. Just like we drew it up. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, and welcome back to round 3. Yeah, I think we got to keep. We can basically put any lands we find off of the Foul Watchers into the grave. Opponent starts with a blue-white tap land. We could start by casting Strike it Rich. I'm not 100% sure that's what we want to do. While it does get a sorcery into the grave early, we will have an opportunity to do so on turn 3. Actually... Okay, never mind. That makes my decision for me. Play the Rootwalla, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. We untap and draw an island. Play an island, go to combat. Attack for 1. Play Foul Watcher. Surveil. Island into the grave. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a Plains. Then passes. We untap. Draw a mountain. Go to combat. I cannot... Oh, I guess I could have maybe gotten Delirium. I should have played an island and played the Foul Watcher pre-combat. Pump the Rootwalla. Hit them for 4. Play a mountain. Play Foul Watcher. Because we have multiple dual-typed cards. Seal of Removal. I'm actually going to keep on top. An unsummon in this position is quite powerful because of the tempo advantage we've got going on here. Opponent plays a Plains into nothing. So we draw a Seal of Removal, play an island, go to combat. Attack and pump. Hit them for 5. Play Seal of Removal. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps and scoops. Wow. I have no idea what was in their hand. They must have been missing a color that they needed. That's the only thing that makes sense. No adjustments, we'll just run it back. Alright. Game 2 of round 3, and we cannot keep this hand because there are no lands in it. Mulligan. Alright, I can work with this, we'll keep. I'm going to put back Scuttletide. Opponent leads on Plains. We lead on Tanglepool Bridge, pass the turn. So we're probably going to end up saving this Mental Journey until we actually can just cast it. Opponent plays an Ornithopter of Paradise. We draw an Arcbound Tracker, play an island, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. They are at least a 3-color deck. They play Thraben Watcher. New plan. Play Lannis. Play a mountain, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a land. They'll probably attack us for 3 in the air and then cast something else. I cast an Unbounded Potential, which is slightly disconcerting because 3 HP is about as much damage as we can remove at one time using, like, Storm God's Oracle. So that's worrisome. And our opponent has a Sea Drake. Alright, well, we untap and draw Junk Winder, play a Mountain, play the Oracle. If we can get this Junk Winder down fast enough, we should be okay. Pass the turn. But we have, like, 1 turn to get that figured out. If we die, I'm pretty sure it's because I took the wrong sequence. So let's strike it rich. And then I can Junk Winder, get a token, tap, but I can't do anything else, and we die exactly. Alright. So I don't want to show him Junk Winder before game 3, and I don't think we're going to make any adjustments. So this hand would be amazing if we had red mana. Unfortunately we do not, and we need to mulligan that. This hand is marginally better. I think we're going to put back the Root Walla. We'll lead on an island, pass the turn. Opponent leads on a tap land. Draw Terramorph. Terramorph is going to be quite important to making this hand work. So we're going to need to draw that 4th land. And if we do, we should be fine, but if we don't, we're going to be in trouble. Okay, we draw a Mountain. So play a Mountain. Play Ethereum Spinner. Pass the turn. Next turn we can play... Okay, they counterspell the Ethereum Spinner. Next turn we can play Terramorph into a Mountain to play Dragon's Rage Channeler. Then untap... cast Terramorph, and then Surveil, manipulate our top deck, except we're not manipulating our top deck because we're going to search for a land and shuffle. Okay, opponent plays an Ornithopter. We untap, we draw Aeromoeba, play Avimaya, Terramorph for a Mountain, play Dragon's Rage Channeler. Pass the turn. So if we surveil something that isn't a sorcery, artifact, or creature into the grave off of Dragon's Rage Channeler's ability, then we can get dual value on Prophetic Titan as well as be attacking with a 3/3 next turn, which is pretty big. So opponent basic land cycles a Landscaper Kolos for a swamp, plays a swamp, taps for 3 colors, and plays a Sea Drake. Oh, they're going to be in major pain. They just double boomeranged their own lands, and we're going to kill that no matter what. But if we kill it and get card advantage, it's 100% game over. So Terramorph, we get to Surveil. Sorcery... God, I actually want to draw this. Or I don't want to draw that. I'm going to shuffle it away. Get an island. Then we draw. Galvanic Relay. Prophetic Titan. Deal 4 damage to the Sea Drake. And this is why Sea Drake has a pretty big downside. Because now my opponent just set themselves 2 turns behind, and we are getting to the point where we're very ahead. If we draw mana, we can Aeromoeba and Galvanic Relay, which draws us more cards. If we draw a cheap spell, we can do the same thing. We're a good spot. I mean, Aeromoeba, if we draw anything that we want to enable Delirium, we can use that to enable Delirium. Attack for 1. Opponent plays an Arcbound Mouser. Then plays a Steel Dromedary. They move a counter over to the Mouser. So we untap. Draw a forest. Play a forest. Go to combat. Actually, I should have cast both of those beforehand because the odds of surveilling something that would turn on Delirium is there. So I may have just missed 3 damage. Play Aeromoeba. Galvanic Relay. Surveil. Yep, that would have done it. So I missed 3 damage. So we exile an island and a Blazing Root Walla. Alright, so So we'll be able to play both of those next turn. Those are also both pretty bad top decks, so good to get those out of the way. Wish there were some higher value stuff, but you can't have everything all the time. Okay, opponent plays Loathsome Curator, so they can sack their Ornithopter if they want to kill our Channeler. That is exactly what they did. Opponent can put a counter on the Curator. They're going to put a counter on the Mouser so they can attack. They didn't attack with Lifelink. I have no cards in hand, so I can't trade for that Mouser. Can this only move to artifact creatures? Nope, any creature. Alright, we untap. We draw a Seal of Removal, play an Island, play a Rootwalla, play Seal of Removal. I'm immediately going to bounce that Curator, because while this does give them potential double value, they don't have enough mana currently to cast it. If they do cast it, they have to sack something if they want value out of it, and if they sack something, they can only kill the Rootwalla. So hit them for 6, and that Rootwalla is probably less value than most of those things. Okay, opponent does not block, because they'd have to put all the counters back on the Dromedary, and then the Dromedary wouldn't untap. Opponent plays a Plains, so they can replay that Loathsome Curator if they want. If they don't play it and sack the Dromedary first, we will trade for the Mouser. Okay, they replay the Curator. They sack the Dromedary to kill the Rootwalla. They attack us for 3, so they go up to 12. We go down to 17. Untap. Get a Wave Sifter. Play Wave Sifter. Investigate, investigate. Sack a clue, draw a card. It's a Mental Journey. Go to combat. I think because of this Mental Journey, I'm willing to trade for that Loathsome Curator by attacking. Okay. Opponent's turn. We have up to 7 power in the air if we need it. 5 mana. They reanimate Sea Drake. Interesting choice. They're going to pick up some lands. I guess it is their only flyer that could possibly trade. Their other option would be like an Ornithopter. Do we want to trade here? I don't think so. We'll take 3. Okay, really glad I didn't block. Opponent gains 4. We untap. We draw Silver Bluff Bridge. Do we have anything that would be good to play pre-combat? Maybe. I'm actually going to cast this first. Cast Mental Journey. I should have played that slightly differently than I did. Alright, go to combat. Attack here. Okay, opponent no blocks. Ditch an island. Flip power and toughness. Hit them for 4. Play a mountain. Strike it rich, because we might need that token on the board if we get a Junk Winder. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a land, goes to combat, attacks for 9, no blocks, go to 4. They play a Sojourner's Companion. Okay. Sack a clue on their end step. We draw a mountain, not good. Untap. We draw Kaleidoscorch. We can use that to kill the Sea Drake. Actually, hang on. So we can do 2 damage with the front half. We can do 4 damage with the back half. That's 6. We have 7 damage on board. We're 1 off of lethal. If we kill this Arcbound Mouser, we're going to have some trouble. Because they'll just put all the 1/1 counters on Sojourner's Companion. We need to kill the Sea Drake because it flies. I have nowhere to put this 2 extra damage that's useful. So, Kaleidoscorch. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. Strike it Rich can make another treasure. That was almost really bad. Do I have enough mana? I can play a mountain. I can ditch Silver Bluff Bridge. Okay, let's do this first. Go to combat. If my opponent has a Lens Flare, we're dead. So ditch the Silver Bluff Bridge. I may not have enough mana to do what I'm thinking about doing. But this is the only way we possibly can win. They have the Lens Flare. Would it have worked? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... So we use 3 of the 11 to get 1 back. So we go down to 9 mana. Then we Kaleidoscorch. It would have worked, too. That's a good thing that they had that. For them, anyway. Flashback, strike it rich. We'll show it to them. Kaleidoscorch, red-green. Then we'll concede. Oh, it was so close. It was that card. They had to have that card. No other card in this format did it. Oh well. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays in the afternoon, sometimes in the evening, and, you know, I'm in the Mountain Time, U.S. time zone, so however that translates to your week, if you want to tune in live. If not, I upload the Twitch VODs on Friday. Yeah, and if you want to interact with me more directly, I am relatively busy. I have been for a while, but Discord is still the best place to do that. The link is in the description below if you want to join. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of August. You guys are wonderful, and I really appreciate your support. It's been helping me make a lot of good content. If you want your name to show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon in the description down below if you want to support this channel. Thank you so much.